Welcome to Israeli Adventures, the podcast that unveils the opulence and charm of the Holy Land. This is Benny Levine's podcast, your host and the proud owner of Luxury Experiential Travel. Join me as we explore the finest destinations and experiences that Israel has to offer. Get ready to indulge in the ultimate luxury escape.
Okay, so welcome to another episode of Israeli Adventures, and today I have a special guest with me, Yoni Shtern. Yoni, welcome.
Thank you very much, Benny, for hosting me over here. It's a pleasure. Thank you, Benny.
So let me tell a few words about you. So me and Yoni, going back probably like 20 years.
Yeah,
We're getting old. and we started by guiding together, field trips of Israeli schools.
Yeah,
climbing.
middle age, like a high school, middle school kids.
Yeah, like
teenagers.
Sometimes fourth grade, third grade with the flowers explaining. So, and not many people left from that time period, like from many years ago. And the people that left are really unique and special. Yoni, you're living in the Aqaba Valley. I tell you what, like, first things that coming in my mind when I think about you. You live in the Aqaba Valley, in the desert, on Road 90. We will invite you to another chapter to talk about that region, because today we're talking about Jordan and what you can do in Jordan. So it's not about Israel. You can do a travel to Jordan from Israel. We'll talk about everything. But who you are in my eyes, like some guides are vessels of knowledge. So check. Yoni, vessel of knowledge.
Oh,
check.
Thank you, Benny. Wow.
Two, the way you bring that knowledge to life and it can fit to a fourth grader Israeli kid that don't care about anything or a teenager that don't care about anything, to the people that are like historians and they now in deep history on or understanding the ecology. You have it all. You're almost like a tour guide with a Swiss knife. You're also an entrepreneur and you're creating new initiative in tourism. We get to meet in different ways. You're also in a place that you've been running a group. Like there is a school for tour guides. Tour guides go for 2 years of school. And most of the time when I went to this school of tourism and getting my license, I have the person that's running the course for the tour guide. And I had the worst person in the world. Because at the end, you're gathering a lot of knowledge, but you don't get a great example how to execute the ability of being a tour guide, being in tourism and travel. And Yoni, I will start with the first question before we go to Jordan. What is the one word? What needs to happen to a person that come to Israel that will create his visit to be unbelievable?
Wow. Thank you very much, Benny, first of all, for all the introduction. I think the one word is love. Like the passion of love, the love of the people and the love of the land of Israel. If you love the land of Israel and you love the people you guide in the land of Israel, you can be like the best tour guide ever. And I think that's the main reason why I'm working in the field of tourism, because I'm getting the people who love the land of Israel, interesting, like their curiosity of the Bible stories and, the Exodus of Egypt. They want to hear, they want to see, they want to touch, they want to learn, and they love the Bible, they love the land of Israel. And if you bring them your passion and your love to the land of Israel, to the history of Israel, and that's what makes you, I think, the best tour guide, or like the best experience of visiting the Holy Land, the land of Israel. The Hashemite kingdom of Jordan is part of the historical land of Israel.
So today I invited you because how many times you've been to Jordan?
Wow, stop counting. More than 100 times of visit to Jordan. And many times as a tour guide, many times as for, for a meetings, conference, and also for cooperational project between the two states, like educational initiatives between the state of Israel and the Hashemite kingdom of Jordan, like taking teachers from the Ministry of Education of Israel with Jordanian teachers for like 5 days, like a seminar 5-day seminar, co-seminar, like, like what we call, like a seminar, like a dual language or dual seminar, Israel teachers and Jordanian teachers, part of the peace of the two states.
I love that. It's basically creating from the education level, from young age, that new Middle East that we're all seeking for.
Yeah, at the end, we're all seeking for the new Middle East, for the peace. At the end, Evenu Shalom Aleichem, Evenu Shalom Al Israel. We're all looking for the peace. We're all looking for the beautiful Middle East. And while we're talking, there are negotiations in Saudi Arabia. And my dream one day in the tourism field is to arrange a traveler's package, a tourism package from Saudi Arabia via Jordan all the way to Jerusalem, Tel Aviv. It's like an expedition journey from Mecca to Petra, from Petra to Jerusalem, Tel Aviv.
Sign me up.
I will sign you up.
Sign me up, and I bring the Land Rover, and we drive through the desert. It's a dream of mine to get to the UAE. So how would we get to the UAE? And talking about Yoni, we're talking about Jordan. So you've been many, many times to Jordan. I know you know Jordan like a palm of your hand. It was like your backyard. It's now is your backyard. So let me ask you the first question. Why Jordan worth a visit?
Wow. Before I answer that question, I live on the Israeli-Jordanian border. Like, I can literally walk to Jordan 2 minutes. Like, when taking my dog out for a walk or my kids running the bicycles where I live, it's on the border with Jordan, and there is no border fence.
What is the name of?
Neot Akikar. It's the biblical Sodom and Gomorrah area. It's in the southern part of the Dead Sea, or if you want, in the northern part of the Arava Valley. It's right on the Arava Junction, road number 90, half an hour south from the hotels of the Dead Sea, from the resort location of the hotels, 10 minutes from the Arava Junction, the main Arava Junction, on what we call the Peace Route. The Peace Route, road number 90. I live 2 minutes walking distance from the border with no fence. It's a border of peace. And for your question, what is the main reason? Like, because Jordan is beautiful, it's amazing. It is the same shared history. Jordan and Israel, it's a common story. We're talking about the same story. The biblical time, the Second Temple House time, the Roman Byzantine heritage, Crusader time. It's the same story. Like, to educate people or to tour guide people in Jordan, it's like in Israel. It's a parallel story. We share the same heritage, Israel and Jordan.
It's very interesting when I never thought about this way. That I think that's why we're all excited. People that in the travel industry, when people excited when agreements and peace is happening, but we're like excited because when you go to study, like you said, history, you suddenly, you literally study on the other side of the Jordan River as well. So you said history, perfect. When I go, what are the options for people to go to Jordan from Israel? What are the border passages like to go to Jordan? What is the first step? What do you need in order to go to Jordan?
So I think Jordan worth visit because of the destination, of course. We're talking about Petra, we're talking about Wadi Ram and other places. And the border crossing, you have one border crossing in the southernmost place of the Arava Valley, not far away from Eilat. That's the border crossing between the two big cities, Eilat and Aqaba. It's called Rabin border crossing or Rabin checkpoint. The second one is Allenby, not far away from Jericho. But Allenby, it's more complicated because of the security control. But another border crossing is in the northern part of Israel, not far away from Beit She'an. Maybe our listeners are well known with the historical archaeological site of the ruins of the Roman and Byzantine era of Beit She'an. Over there, this is the Jordan River border crossing. So to summarize, we have 3 land border crossing between Israel and Jordan. From the north, Beit She'an, Jordan River border crossing. In the middle, Allenby, but it is not recommended to travel via the Allenby. And another one, the third one, in Eilat, that connect Eilat to Aqaba.
So that's perfect. We have free crossing. I know as Israelis, we can cross only in two. So if you have a dual citizenship, don't
Yeah.
cross in or try in
it's
the
very
Allenby
important
one.
comment. Yeah, Israelis passports holders are not allowed to cross through the Allenby. Only foreigners. So if our listeners have a dual citizenship with Israel, they're not allowed to cross the Allenby border crossing because of safety and Israeli, Palestinian, the PLO regulations.
Okay, so that's done. We have free border crossing. How many days, Yoni? How many days
I think
to go to Jordan?
Wow, 2-3 days by minimum. And it also depends on the time schedule you have in Israel. If, for example, you decided to come on a 10 days vacation, I'll offer you 7 days in Israel, 3 days in Jordan. But if you decide to come to 2 weeks, 14 days, I will tell you 9-10 days in Israel, 4-5 days in Jordan. It really depends on the time schedule. By minimum 2 days in Jordan, I think will be great.
So let me challenge you. So one day, like if I have one day, I live from Tel Aviv or Jerusalem, I jump on a plane, I land in the south, and I go to the border crossing, the most common one, the most easy one. It's like a lot of tourists passing through that border, so it's easy. How is one day travel look like to Jordan?
1 day travel to Jordan will include, after all the bureaucracy of border crossing, it will include Petra and maybe a quick visit at the Aqaba, the city of Aqaba. Maybe at the boardwalk of Aqaba, or maybe the hotels area of Aqaba. Like Petra is like the most important visit.
Do you have any recommendation for like a special bite in Aqaba?
People at Aqaba, people like the knafe. The knafe. And of course, they have like all the baklava desserts are very cool. And, a fresh lemonade on the Red Sea at the boardwalk of Aqaba will be lovely.
Wow, sounds amazing. By the way, how complicated is the border crossing? What does it involve?
Not complicated at all. Easy going. So simple, like 5 minutes, you're done. When you travel from Eilat to Aqaba, there is what we call the tour agent representative inside the border who make all the process. He help you with all the paper process. He arrange all the paper in advance. You just stamp your passport, a very quick security check like in the airport. It's faster than Ben Gurion International Airport. Like 7 minutes, 10 minutes, you're done. Also in the side of the Jordanian, it's 2 minutes walking distance from the Israeli side to the Jordanian side, and also the Jordanian side, 5 minutes, and you're done because your name will be listed in advance at the passport control. The passport control officer will have your name in advance. So it's very, very quick.
So basically, that's what we do for our guests when they go. So we set them up with all the names. So basically, it's happening to everyone. But if I decide to go, it might take a little longer.
To everyone. If you're not coming, if you travel to Jordan, not through an Israeli travel company or not through a tourism office, the border will take you like 1 hour and 30 minutes, 2 hours, because you need to get your visa, you need to get your papers. If you book a tour in advance through a travel company, the process is very quick.
Yeah. You know what? It's so true. People ask me why. Because we really apply to all those things and they're ready. But you know what happened not long ago was very funny, is that even with that process, the person that stamped on the Jordanian side stood up and went to a late breakfast break. And he was the only one that could stamp it. So one of the things,
sometimes
I would say it's easy, it's relaxed, but we're going into a country that is not as modern.
Yes, we need to remember.
So we want, like, with all the preparation we do in order to make it comfortable, people, please, when you travel, just breathe, enjoy. Because even being in the border, when you're, Jordanian representative stamping your passport, just enjoy. Have a conversation, have a cold drink, right? Prepare yourself for the adventure. So you're saying Petra and Aqaba, this is 1 day.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you say. Jordan is not the US or Germany or England. Be patient sometimes, bureaucracy sometimes can
It's
can
also
slow down the
different.
process. Yeah, it's
Desert time. Desert time.
desert time or Bedouin time. We also used to say
Yeah,
a Bedouin time.
Yeah. So now, like, I know that it's a huge difference. Like, you always say Petra as a first, like, one day go to Petra, right? Because Petra is so famous and it's have a great publicity on Instagram, social media, etc., etc. One tip for people that are good walking, like if you want to get off the beaten track in Petra, where should you go?
Wow. If you have the time and you want to get off the beaten track, you should go to Jabal Madbach. It's a beautiful place inside the National Park of Petra. It's a lovely hike. Or you also can ride a donkey. And if you have an extra time, you can hike to Jabal Arun. Jabal Arun,
Wow.
that's the traditional place of the burial place of Aaron, the prophet, or the
Wow.
Kohen,
The
great
brother of Moses.
the brother of Moses, the Kohen Gadol, the great, the great Kohen, and it's a beautiful overlooking in the Arava Valley, and over there, just the stories, or just to understand that you're standing on the place of, the prophet of Aaron, the brother of Moses. It's inside Petra. It's a lovely hike over there.
And how long is those hikes take?
A 1 day hike. It's a
So
half a
Jabal Arun is like a half a day there, half a day back. It's a full day.
It's a full day of
So
hike.
it's not good for 1 day travelers, but wow, if you're
Yeah.
into hiking and you want to see Petra, and the other hike,
The other hike, Jabal Madbach, it's a lovely hike. You can do it in the half day. It's above the treasury. Jabal Madbach, you can go. It's another extra 2 hours, 3 hours hike. Above the traditional or the classic walk of Petra.
so I love that. By the way, people ask me about Petra all the time, and Petra is magical. But when you walk, there is so many people. Many times, like you walk, you arrive to the treasury, you feel Indiana Jones, you climb up for a great picture. That's all awesome. And then if you can, just take one of those sidewalks. I remember one of the small sidewalks was called to the high place of sacrifice.
Yeah, that's
It's
that Jabal Madbach.
That's
the
Jabal
high place of sacrifice. It's called Jabal Madbach.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the official name. So
Yeah.
I remember going there. It's like literally like you turn off to the side and suddenly you're almost alone. Many times you're completely alone in the same formations and like caves. And what is Petra, by the way?
Petra, by the way, the name of Petra, it's a rock. It's like Petrus from the Bible. Petrus, Saint Peter, is Saint Peter, the one who is the rock, the foundation, like Petra, the rock. So Petra is the red rock. Also in Hebrew, we call it the Sela Adom, the red rock, the main rock of Petra. Petra, the capital of the ancient kingdom of the Nabatean.
So it's a fascinating nation that was like they been the first tour guides, huh?
Literally, yeah, we can say.
Nobody wanted to travel, so they moved goods.
They moved good. They moved incense, very expensive incense. Myrrh and frankincense from Arabia, like from Yemen, from Emirates all the way to the seaport of Gaza, to the seaport of Jaffa. And they were the tour guides of ancient times.
And now I want to ask you, Yoni, okay, day one, we know Petra, you gave a little bit of tips to the sidewalks that, by the way, this Jabal
Madbach, Jabal Arun
is probably my favorite spot. Like it's something magical. It's a place where there is a lot of sacrifice was going on. So we said Petra is good. If we have 2 days, what shall we do in Jordan? How is the second day look like, and where should we stay overnight?
Wow, the second day, I think for 2 days visit in Jordan, you must add the Wadi Rum. Wadi Rum, you can do hikes, you can do jeep tour, you also can do rock climbing or rappelling. And to do overnight in like great glamping or like it's kind of like it's a beautiful camping site that combine glamping inside with bathroom and toilet in the middle of the desert in front of the beautiful red sandstone
Wow.
dunes,
Yeah.
like a red sandstone dunes with an isolated mountain and rock formation. The cliff are amazing, and to do like a camel tour or a 2 hours jeep tour. It's amazing. So you can combine first day Petra, second day Wadi Ram, or opposite. Depends on where you come from to Jordan.
So Wadi Ram, like I completely agree. It's like Mars, right?
It's like it's like Mars.
And,
It's like
and by the way, the favorite hours in this area is like sunrise and sunset.
yeah, sunrise and sunset are the best time. To
Like-
wake up for sunrise in Petra, to do a yoga. Many times we're taking tourists to Wadi Ram people, and they decide let's do yoga in front of the sunrise, and the sun portrait, behind the mountains.
Yeah, it's beautiful. A great experience I had there was with a hot air balloon on sunrise.
Yeah,
at
you can
Wadi
do,
Ram.
hot
It was
air
really
balloons.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah, Wadi Ram is magical place, but it's a place that I recommend people to do like a whole day. Like people love to go travel and maybe sometimes almost feel like a check mark. It's a perfect place to get into like a desert feeling, a desert time, a Bedouin time that you called. We're joking about the Bedouin time, but when you get into that pace, it's so relaxing. Like you mentioned yoga. I'm not a yoga person, but that's the only place in the world I could go and have like a yoga lesson, because it's just when you start, it's just like magical. There is no other words to
Yeah,
say.
when you travel to the desert, take your time. You need to get into a desert mood or a Bedouin time, a desert time. Take your time because you want to suck it in. If you want to feel the desert, you need to let the desert impact you. And the desert, I really believe that there is a good reason why the Jewish people received the Torah in Sinai. Why Moses gave us the Torah in Sinai. And if you think about it, also the holy book of Quran, Muhammad received the holy book in Quran in the desert. And also Christianity in a kind of a way started in the desert of the Dead Sea, in the Judean desert. So maybe only in the desert you get the feeling that you can maybe talk to God, or maybe in the desert God is listening.
Yeah, I think there is, like, for me, like I can share with you, is like the desert. I lived in Mitzpe Ramon as a kid. That's where I grew up. I came from Moscow, a huge city with a lot of cars. Communism just ended, and then we arrived and we went to Mitzpe Ramon because they said it's a very cultural town for people that were used to the Bolshoi theater. And so we arrived. It's a small town, less than 5,000 people, but it's in a beautiful spot. And the desert for me was like a direct connection really, really quickly, because there is no trees to block your view. So like I almost feel like my observation point is opening up.
Yeah, wow.
And your thoughts.
Now, when you talk about the Ramon crater in Mitzpe Ramon, I can imagine the views, like the landscape, and that's what I love the desert, and that's the reason why I decided to live in the desert, because in the desert, the views are like endless.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, like the landscape, like sometimes from Ramon crater, you can see the mountains of Jordan, which is far away, but it's beautiful to see, the shape, the topography of the rocks.
And also, I think the other part in the desert that is so appealing to me is a perfect ground to push people out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because I think you talked about religions, and religions starting in the desert. Maybe the main reason is that if you're not accepting being small, you cannot survive the desert. Like it's not in your level, in many ways. So that means that there is a place to grow. When you accept it, that you are just a small piece out of something, you just cannot survive. It's not like jungle. Throw me in the jungle. If I have a good surviving skills, I will catch a snake and, drink some water and collect rainwater. It's desert. If you're not smart and respected of the nature and understanding who you are, you have very low chance to survive. So I love that developing.
And in Petra, we can see what you just explained. You can see how the Nabatean people back then, how their culture was to learn and to study the water irrigation and the water supply of the desert, and they learn all the wadis, and they learn how to survive in the desert based on what the desert can offer them.
Like, don't try to over smart it.
Yeah.
Live with that, understand it, be
Yeah.
part of it, breathe with it, like
Be
take
modest.
a siesta.
In
be
the desert,
modest.
be modest, because God or the desert nature is much stronger than humankind. We're nothing. We're like so tiny in front of the giant mountains of Wadi Ram or Petra.
Now, Yoni, we finished with Wadi Ram and Petra. This is very well-known sites. Like, there is really nothing more magical than to stay in those sand dunes, do sandboarding, sunrise, sunset. Be more simple, touch the ground, enjoy the bonfire at the end, the Bedouin coffee, that's great. But what are, like, this is at the end between us. For somebody that's been 100 times, I've been much, much less. But still, it's Jordan for beginners. So what is the Jordan, like when you said, if you people come for 2 weeks or they want to do 3-4 days in Jordan, so they do Wadi Ram, they go to Petra, maybe even visit Little Petra. But what is the next level? What are the jewels that you feel? And I would say, if you can, please think about maybe one historical jewel, one nature jewel, one other, just like maybe a special place or meeting or experience.
Wow.
Anything that will be like a great knowledge for who listening to us, that is like it will be worth for them, because I know you know those places. What are the things that or places they should visit?
So I think that if you like the nature, if you're like a nature person and you like to hike or you like to bike, I think to do like a half a day or a full day hike in the Red Mountains or Moab Mountains, Edom Mountains or Moab Mountains. There are such great hikes. For example, Wadi Mujib in Hebrew are known, also mentioned in the Bible. It's an expedition hike. It's like adventure with water all around you. Like, you need to go up, holding the rope, because the water, in the middle of the desert, like water spring and waterfall in the middle of the desert, and you go up the wadi with all the water. I think for people who love hikes, that's a great experience. Wadi Mujib or Wadi Chissa, Nachal Zered in Hebrew, are great adventure. If you
Wadi Chissa is like it's even have like a 2-day option, right?
Yeah, also, you can do 2 days or 3 days. It's like a long wadi. You can take like one part to do like a 4 kilometers or like 2.5 miles, or you can go for like a 10 miles hike. It depends your time.
Wow.
And you also can do overnight camping. You can do a luxury hotels accommodation. Depends on your choice. And if you're more a cultural person, I will go for Madaba and Mount Nebo, Jabal Nebo. Very important also for Christianity and also for the biblical stories. The place where Moses saw the promised land but couldn't enter because God punished him. So Mount Nebo, Ar Nebo, Jabal Nebo, and Madaba. Madaba, it's a Christian city. Actually, it's not far away from the capital of Jordan, from Amman. It's also not far away from Jericho. And you can stand on Mount Nebo and you can see the Dead Sea. You can see the Jordan River Valley and to see the Promised Land, and then to visit the church. It's a Greek Orthodox historical church with the first and most important mosaic map ever found of the Holy Land. We're talking about a mosaic map from the 6th century to the Common Era. 1,400 years old map that describes the Holy Land.
That's where the famous map of Jerusalem and the old city is just a piece out of this map.
Yes, the old city of Jerusalem is one piece of the great map. In that map, you can see the Nile River. You can see the Dead Sea, the Jordan River, Jericho, Jerusalem, the Mediterranean. It's like the first important map of the Holy Land.
Wow.
And it's also important location because the Pope visited Mount Nebo and, of course, Madaba Christian city. And so people who are looking for heritage, culture, that's their place.
So I think, my next question will be about the seasons and when is the best time to go. I think it's connected because Mount Nebo, I took my paraglider and I flew from Mount Nebo.
Whoa.
And then when I landed down there were a Jordanian truck with a machine gun with an army that was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, just paragliding." And they were like, "Okay."
Who's the
okay."
crazy person who's like
But some days, like I remember that day because I could see Jerusalem from Mount Nebo.
Yeah, you can see sometimes from
Because
Jerusalem.
it's higher, right?
Yeah, so on a very clear days, you can see from Mount of Olive, Jerusalem, you can see Mount Nebo, and the opposite from Mount Nebo, you can see Jerusalem.
It's
very
crazy.
high.
Like you can see the Golden Dome, the Temple Mount
It's
from
amazing.
Mount Nebo in a very good days. And those days are usually in what seasons, or what are the best seasons to visit Jordan?
The best season is the springtime, April, March, April, May, that's the best time. But you also can come during the fall, from October, November, December, wintertime. It's a great time for the desert area, for Petra, for Wadi Ram. But Petra, you also can visit in July, August. It's July, August, it's not a high season. It's, low season kind of because of the heat. But because Petra and Wadi Ram are very high altitude, the topography is very high. So it's not too hot during the evening time. During daytime, it will be, 35 Celsius or 85, 90 Fahrenheit. But at evening time, it's very nice and chill outside.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you took some of my team to see some hotels in August, and they didn't complain about the heat.
Not complain at all, yeah.
Stay in the shade. This desert is okay.
Stay in the shade.
But then in the evening is
Yeah,
really
the
nice.
evening, it's really nice.
So you recommend the best time is spring, but if you're here in the summer or the winter, just go.
Yeah,
Winter
yeah.
might be cold.
Winter might be cold, yeah. The mountains might be cold. Mount Nebo might be cold in the winter. Benny, what about coffee?
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming, but we didn't finish. I want you to think about: is there any dress code? Is there any traditions that we need to know about when people go to Jordan at the end? When you go to a country that is a Muslim country like Egypt or Jordan, what do you need to take in consideration? How do you show the local people the respect and the love?
First of all, we need to understand the full name of Jordan is the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. The Hashemite family, the Hashemite royal family. We're talking about a Muslim Bedouin monarchy. It's a Muslim country. 95% of the people in Jordan are Muslims. To show them respect, and you come with a long pants and with a t-shirt with, don't come. It's not recommended to wear a tank tops. Long pants, it will be very respectful. Even though Jordan, it's a Muslim country, it's very modern, very advanced, very modern. And the Jordanian people, they impact a lot. They invest a lot in tourism, and they want us to feel comfortable. So also, if you're coming a short or you'll come in a tank top, none of them will give you an eyes, will point at you. But to show them respect, come with a long pants and with a regular t-shirt. For example, it's not recommended to drink alcohol, a beer or wine in the public areas. If you want to drink a beer, only in some hotels. Also, the restaurants, most of the restaurants or hotels in Jordan do not, in their service or in their menu, alcohol is not included. Only in some of the restaurants. So if you want to drink a beer, for example, in Petra, or a wine in the evening, not in all hotels they provide that service. There is like a specific bars or specific hotels that you can go for a drink.
That have a special
They have a special license for alcohol, and it's really unpolite to drink a beer on the street. So don't do that. And also in Aqaba, for example, if you want to go in a bikini, to the water in Aqaba, not a problem. But in front of the hotels, in front of the tourism section, not in the public area.
If you go to a public beach, the Jordanian women and many times men will go inside with a t-shirt,
or with a long pants. Yeah.
So that's very, very important tips. I think it's super, super important. So we got some ideas about Petra and Jordan,
and also the Jordanians, they're very polite. So be part of the Arab polite, like hello, how are you, welcome. Hugs also, like If you get like a a Jordanian hug or a Jordanian kiss, it's a welcome. It's like it's a three kisses, on three times on your chest, like 1, 2, 3.
Like you're saying, don't worry, Jordanians are not trying to kiss you. That's part of they are like the Italians of the Middle East.
Yeah. It's like they welcome you. It's like, oh, Yoni, marhaba, welcome to Jordan. It's like a three kisses.
And it's also like, I think one of the things, if you want to be like, there is a difference between being a tourist and a traveler.
Yeah.
In many ways. Like if you want to be, when you go to a new country, if you want to be a traveler and not a tourist. The tourist is coming, taking a selfie with the treasury in Petra, and it's great. But if you want to be a traveler and to soak it in, give it time, because the people in Jordan are probably the most amazing, right?
Amazing! Wow!
We need to do another chapter to hear stories, personal stories that happening to you.
Lovely.
So I want to ask you one story that you can tell me that happened to you on your visits, like, that is unique, that shows that hospitality of the Jordanians.
Well, the Jordanian, their hospitality is great. They're so welcoming. And I think the main personal story is a beautiful project that Jordanian and Israelis, a tourism project, we worked on it together, follow the footsteps of the Nabatean. So we hike from Petra to the Israeli Wadi Araba, Jordanian Israeli Wadi Araba, and to Ovdat in the Israeli Negev, following the camel caravan of the Jordanian. And the camel walkers, what we call megamel in Hebrew, the person who takes the camel, they're so friendly. So they saw sometimes people, it was too hard for them to walk or to hike. So the Jordanian hospitality, they take all your luggage and they tell you, oh, jump on the camel, easy going. Or if you want, not a problem, we will arrange you a Toyota. Toyota in Jordan, it's like to say Jeep, or like to say, like every pickup truck in Jordan, or every Jeep in Jordan is a Toyota. Every 4x4 is a Toyota. No, Yoni, not a problem. One phone call, I will arrange you a Toyota. Like,
yeah, that's
take it easy.
When you go to Jordan, you'll see a lot of Toyotas, maybe even from the 60s.
Yes.
It's the evolution of the pickup trucks. Those are the only ones that survive.
Yeah, evolution of the camel caravan. Yeah, the Toyotas.
So I want really, Yoni, to thank you, because really, Jordan, we can sit and tell so many stories. I think for me, my personal story is, I've been during the Ramadan. Mm-hmm. Ramadan is a month when they are like fasting, right? And only eating at night. And we've been to Karak. So it was me, my wife, and a good friend of mine that before that, we explored the area on the border with Iraq. And we went into a second-hand store for jalabia, is the wear,
dressing,
the dress that the Bedouins. And we said, and we had this nice conversation with the seller, and he invited us for coffee, and we out of a feeling that, we have to say thank you. We bought 2 jalabias, and we were jalabias. We said, in Jordan, we're driving our Jeep with the jalabias. We felt like sheiks, like local sheiks, driving around. But you know that you see that dress, and it's so great with the air conditioning that coming from the bottom, all your body going out from the top. And we arrived to Karak, and we're wearing those jalabias, and it's pretty much sunset, and we didn't know where is our hotel. So the policeman stopped us. He saw we're lost, and he said, okay, let me take you. So he's basically jumping into his car, driving us exactly to the hotel. We're getting off. We're saying thank you. He says, in half an hour, I will come back and I will pick you up for the Ramadan meal. We're like, it just like things like this can happen to you. We ended up sitting, in a huge table in front of the main mosque, eating a Ramadan meal, and you laughing because I can see on your eyes that it's like it's normal.
It's normal. It's normal, and I have the same story. Yeah, wow. 20 years ago, I was in Tofile. It's a village not far away from Karak. Also during the Ramadan evening, and a family saw us traveling to jump into our house, walk in. And they had like a dinner, and watching the Israeli channel 2, The Bold and the Beauty.
Oh my God, the
a
Israeli
telenovela.
one.
Yeah, Jordanian watching the Israeli channel while having dinner, you know?
Wow. That's great. So I want to thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
We can
Thank
continue
you for
like this
hosting me.
forever. Anything last words that you want to, that I didn't ask, or something that you want to add before to our listeners?
Yes. Upcoming year, we're celebrating 30 years for the peace agreement between Israel and Jordan. So
yeah, that's
from
cool.
from 1994. Yeah, so we're about to celebrate 30 years for the anniversary, you know, Israel and Jordan peace agreement. And I think the future is beautiful and peaceful. And I invite you all, our listeners, to the podcast to come and travel the Holy Land, travel Jordan, travel Israel. You can do Jordan and then Israel. You can do Israel and then Jordan, and be our guest. We're happy to help you.
Yeah, I so agree. So please, this is like, it's Israeli Adventures podcast, but at the end, this chapter, I think good for if you're planning to travel to Jordan. This is no matter if it's just Jordan or Jordan and Egypt, Jordan and the UAE, Jordan and Israel, just come. It's exactly when you come to more than one country, I think you're promoting that idea of what we love and dreaming about, of a new Middle East, with Israel being accepted as part of the neighbors. You know, we have great 2 agreements or 3 agreements today. Hopefully Saudi Arabia that we were talking about.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of things that are happening and gonna happen soon. So Yoni, again, thank you. Thank you for listening, and I'm gonna see you next week. Shalom, shalom.
Thanks for tuning in to Israeli Adventures. I hope you had a blast exploring the luxury vacation scene here in Israel. Stay adventurous, keep embracing the fun, and let your wanderlust lead you to extraordinary experiences. See you next time for more fantastic escapades, safe travels, and endless joy to all our awesome listeners from Benny Levine.